What's up, everybody? Welcome to part two of my classic boat restoration video. If you haven't seen the first one, link in the description below. So this is the first bit of work that I've got to do since I moved the boat. And I mean, since it's local now, I've been able to get so much work done in such a small period of time compared to having to drive 5 hours, to do a weekend's worth of work. And sometimes it will rain. So what we're knocking out in this video is reinforcing the floor, and what that comprised of is fiberglassing those wooden stringers that I had to replace. Fiberglassing them will give them some strength reinforcement and waterproof them. And on top of that, we want to make sure our foundation is good, so we're gonna seal up that lower floor with fiberglass as well, to give us some extra solid floor and to cover up some holes that I put there, and some minor cracks that were already present. So this is pretty much the condition of the floor as it stands. You can see I have a couple drain holes that I drilled out when it was sitting for a long time, so it can drain out. And there's also some shoddy fiberglass work. Some of it is mine. Most of it is how the boat was already constructed. And one of the biggest things I want to address is some air pockets on some old fiberglass work I did when I first was laying it up. So I want to knock those down with the sander. And the idea is to get this floor as flat as possible and the stringers as flat as possible, so we can lay some construction repair putty and then follow that up with some fiberglass over the stringers in the floor. So now what I'm doing, I'm just going through with a fine tooth comb and sanding away all of the bubbles that I see, and doing whatever I have to do to have a flat surface so the fiberglass can lay down without those bubbles. So when you lay the fiberglass, kind of look at it as when you put a new screen protector over your phone. If there's like a speck of dust or dirt under it, you'll have that bubble, and that that essentially makes a weakness in the fiberglass. So I just went through and I patched some holes that were there, and those troublesome areas on the stringers that I had to sand down, I just added some structural repair putty there, so we have a nice flush surface. Once it dried, of course, I went through and sanded everything down with just a palm sander and some 60 grit sandpaper to get it nice and smooth. Now, considering the next step is the fiberglass, this boat's been sitting for a while, has a lot of dust in it, has a lot of stuff from the elements. I went ahead and pressure washed it to make sure it's extra clean for laying up the glass. And I drew this little hole in the bow of the boat to let rain drain out, so you have to keep pumping it out. So that's going to be work for me up the road. So this first material that I'm using is called chop strand mat. It is a type of fiberglass that is it's loose, and for the most part is used for cosmetic things, although it is extremely strong by itself. But this is in contrast to 1708 biaxial fiberglass, which is like really strong and takes a lot of resin, and it is a lot more rigid to work with. Now when I'm dealing with chop strand mat, I don't like to cut it. I like to tear it, because those torn edges makes it real easy to feather in and make a smooth transition into the boat when laying resin on top of it. So I went ahead and ripped all my pieces. You always want to do that in advance, and I test fit them down. And now you just want to get to work and pretty much wet out that fiberglass until it's transparent. I'm gonna tell you, it's not as easy as it looks. This stuff sometimes does not want to cooperate. It'll bunch up, and the chop strand mat likes to get all over the place. It likes to come apart. So definitely a learning curve, which is why I had to go back and sand down my old work, just to come back and do it again. But this time worked out a lot better. So now we're going to get to what I was talking about before. The other fiberglass material you'll commonly use and see is the 1708 biaxial. You can tell it's a lot thicker. You can just tell by the video, and it absorbs a lot more resin. And this I actually cut because it's pretty much impossible to tear. Now, I'm going to tell you that I had the glass work, laying the resin down, completed, and I went fishing and was making some content, and my freaking GoPro flew off of my chest because I used little magnets and went straight into the river. So the footage went down with it. So yeah, this is all I have for now, but you get the point if you see me do the chop string mat. And I mean, as you can see, it's super strong. It doubled in strength just by, you know, that one layer of, you know, 1708. So I'm always super proud when I'm finally done with it, as difficult as it is to work with. Thanks for watching part 2. Part 3 will be us flipping over the boat and repairing and reinforcing the keel, and, you know, restabilizing the hull with fiberglass to prepare it to be primed and painted. So look for that video real soon.